Hey everyone! Today I am so excited to share with you some fun and easy fall-themed home decor DIYs using Dollar Tree's wooden blocks. All are very simple to make and perfect for the season. So let's get started. For the first DIY, we're making a rustic wooden tic-tac-toe game, which also doubles up as decor. For the base, I'll be using this 5.5-inch square wood piece, and I'm going to paint it a darker neutral color, and so I'm just mixing some neutral paints with some water mixed in to thin it down like a stain. And then I just paint that on the wood square, and then I wipe it down immediately before it dries so that you can see some of that wood pattern underneath. I do avoid painting the sides because I'll be adding some border along the sides. Now for the game pieces, I'll be using several packs of these wooden cubes from Dollar Tree. Each pack comes with 3 pieces, and so I'll be using 3 packs. I'll be painting them with that same neutral paint mixture we used for the base, so I brush it on, covering all sides of the cubes. Now, if you want to mix it up, you could use bold colors, metallics, or even a fun pattern to make the blocks really stick out. But for this project, I'm sticking with the neutral tones for a nice cohesive look. Now that the base is completely dry, I'll be adding a charming little stencil design. I got the stencil pack on Amazon, and I'll have that link below if you want to check it out. Now, I wanted to add a little pumpkin on the base, so I'm just going through the pack looking for that perfect pumpkin, and I thought this pattern was just right. And I'll also be adding the wording from this other stencil. So for the pumpkin stencil, I start by taping down the sides to keep it securely in place, and I'm placing it closer to the top so that I have some space for that wording underneath. And I'm using white paint for this design. Now to get the best results, I dip my brush into the paint and then I dab off the excess on a paper towel. The key to a clean, crisp stencil design is applying several light layers of paint. So I just gently pounce the brush over the stencil, building up that color gradually, and that really does help prevent paint from seeping under the edges. Next, I stencil the wording Pumpkin Patch and I place that towards the bottom. Instead of adding just X's and O's to the blocks, I wanted to make it more fall themed, so I designed a pumpkin and a leaf stencil on my Cricut, and I thought this would just add a fun fall detail. For the pumpkin, I'm using the color Pumpkin, and I just dab that color over the stencil. And the vinyl is quite sturdy, it's really not going to break, and I like it because I'm able to use it multiple times with no problem. Now, I did use my Cricut, but you really don't need to. There are plenty of other options. You really can use any design you want, or you can stick to the classic X's and O's. Another great option is just to freehand the shapes, and that would really give it a nice personal touch. Once I'm done painting the pumpkins and the paint has dried, I flip the blocks over and I stencil in the leaf. Now what I do like about the vinyl is that it does have a sticky bottom, and so I don't have to tape anything down, which is nice. And that stickiness is still there no matter how many times I peel it off the block. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to add some clear wax over the wood pieces. I just wanted to protect the design a bit and give it a nice finish. I also apply the wax over the blocks. Now I wanted to put a little border around the wood square, so I used this leftover wood frame from a Dollar Tree canvas. I used it in a previous DIY, and it was already dry brushed with some white paint, which was perfect. So I measure the wood to fit around the square, and then I trim it down. And before I glue the wood border in place, I wanted to add the lines for the game, and so I'll be using these small wood pieces, which I'm staining to match. And these are just coffee stir sticks, and these were the perfect size. And so I'm gluing them in place. Now I glue 2 long pieces down, making sure it's spaced evenly, and then I just measure and trim the remaining pieces to fit. And then I glue those down. And the final step, I glue the white border in place, and I'm using wood glue from Dollar Tree, which holds really well. Once the glue has dried, I place the cube pieces on top, and this adorable DIY is done. For the next DIY, I'll be using a couple of these wood cube packs from Dollar Tree. I'll be making a little garland, and so I'll be drilling a hole right through the center. Now there's a rough side on the block where the wood feels really raw, and that's where I drill the hole through because those will be the hidden sides. And I just use a pilot drill bit to drill in the holes. I'll be staining the wood blocks with this gel stain from Deco Art in the shade Walnut. And so I'm just brushing that on all over and then wiping down the excess. So this video is part of a fall collab hosted by Liana DIY, and I am so honored to be a guest along with Monner's Market. These are all amazing, talented, creative ladies coming together to bring you some fall inspiration. So I'll have that playlist linked below, so make sure to check that out after this video. Okay, getting back to the project, I'm going to add just a few wood beads, and I'm going to paint them in that same walnut stain that we used earlier, as well as moss green. Next, I'm going to add the word fall on the cubes, and I'm just using this Dollar Tree letter stencil, and I'll also be using the shade moss green just to match the beads. But you know, after stenciling in that first letter, I thought maybe it looked a little too light. I did like it, but you know, I thought I would just add another option and stencil fall in black on the opposite side. That way you do have the option to flip the blocks over depending which color you prefer at the moment. So yeah, I definitely like that black a lot better, so I'm glad I ended up adding it. I will be threading the blocks and the beads onto this faux leather cord, alternating the colored beads to create a nice pattern. You can definitely add more beads if you like, but I wanted this to be smaller and simple. After stringing the blocks, I finish off with a few more beads to balance it out. You can add a tassel in the end for a decorative touch, but I'm keeping it simple with just a neat little loop. And then I just knot it securely in place to finish off the look. I do the same thing, creating that little loop on the other side. And this adorable fall DIY is done. For this project, I'll be using 4 of these 2 1/4 inch wood blocks from Dollar Tree. I wanted something a bit larger for this DIY, and these blocks were the perfect size. I'll be painting with this Waverly chalk paint in the shade Pumpkin. So I'm just brushing that on. The paint is very opaque, so a coat is more than enough. I'll be honest, I really hesitated to paint the blocks this color. I usually love keeping things neutral or earthy, and that natural wood grain on these blocks were so pretty that I was tempted to do a simple stain to highlight it. And with the fall season just right around the corner, I decided to just go all in with this richer color. In the end, it's going to look great. I wanted to add a little fall design on top of that pumpkin color, and so I just cut out a very simple stencil on my Cricut, and I did it on this Dollar Tree vinyl with a sticky back. It's just a bunch of random leaves. It's a very simple design. I did make the stencil long enough to cover 2 blocks just to save time, so I just pushed them together before applying the stencil on top, and I'm just using white acrylic paint. I am really loving using these sticky vinyls as stencils. Because they are sticky, paint's not going to seep underneath, and you can keep reusing them. And these are from Dollar Tree, so they were cheap. But again, you really don't need to use a Cricut if you don't have one. You can use rub-on transfers, stamps, small decals, stickers, or you can freehand, or you don't even have to add anything. So I just applied the stencils on 3 sides, the top and the sides. I'm going to stencil in the word home on the blocks, and this is from that stencil pack that I got on Amazon. And so I'm just laying the individual letters on the blocks, and because it is large and there's really no place to tape it down, I'm just being extra careful that it doesn't move around. You can also use repositional spray adhesives if you have that, but I did end up taping half of the letters at a time, and that worked for me. Now what I love about this is that you can display it in so many different ways. Horizontally, vertically, it's versatile, and it just adds a really fun, customizable element to your decor. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I do have more DIYs using these blocks coming up in the near future, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out that fall playlist, link below. Until next time, bye!